Grace B. Malford, the Post and Courier poll volunteer Tom Spain hands out stickers to former Gov. Mark Sanford after he cast his own ballot at Alhambra Hall polling station Tuesday, June 12, 2018, in Mount Pleasant, SC by Sean Sullivan and David Weigel, The Washington Post rep. Mark Sanford, one of President Donald Trump's sharpest Republican critics, fell to his Republican primary challenger Tuesday after Trump waged an extraordinary last-minute effort to defeat him. The South Carolina congressman lost to state legislator Katie Arrington, who won Trump's support just hours before the polls closed on Tuesday. Trump lashed out against Sanford, declaring him unhelpful in a tweet and referring to his 2009 extramarital affair. Start your day with the news you need from the Bay Area and beyond. Sign up for our new Morning Report weekday newsletter. Sanford was battling to ensure a runoff, which would occur if no candidate reaches the 50% plus one vote threshold. But he came up short, the second sitting member of Congress to lose in a primary this year. The president's broadside marked the first time he targeted a congressional Republican incumbent in the midterms. He chose a well-known former governor who, among other criticisms, held him partly responsible for a shooting at a congressional baseball practice by stoking national tensions. South Carolina's a Trump state, and Sanford's never lost, said Sen. Tim Scott, RSC, so, it's an interesting matchup. The inter-party strains came on a day when other cracks emerged in the GOP establishment. On Capitol Hill, Sen. Bob Corker, R10, mocked his colleagues for being afraid to poke the bear and cross the president by voting on an amendment to grant Congress more authority over tariffs. Representative Justin Amish, who clashes frequently with party leaders, responded to Trump's tweet with one defending Sanford. Unlike you, Mark has shown humility in his role and a desire to be a better man than he was the day before, he wrote. Elsewhere, voters made their picks for key November elections for Senate, House and Governor in Virginia, Maine, Nevada and North Dakota, on a day with considerably less drama and lower stakes than primaries in recent weeks. But strategists in both parties were still watching a handful of contests that promised to offer new clarity about the battle for control of the House and the Senate. The Republican majorities are at risk in both chambers. North Dakota, Rep. Kevin Cramer won the Republican nomination for Senate and will face Democratic incumbent Heidi Heitkamp, who had no primary challenger. The race is a top pickup opportunity for Republicans, who are trying to hold on to a narrow 51-49 Senate advantage. Trump personally recruited Cramer to run, but there has been tension between the congressman and the White House. Trump has treated Heitkamp better than other red state Democratic senators as she has crossed party lines to vote for some of his policies and nominees. State legislator Kelly Armstrong won the GOP nomination for Cramer's House seat and will be favored in November. In Nevada, the Senate race has emerged as a marquee midterm showdown. Senator Dean Heller is considered the most vulnerable Republican senator running for re-election. He was expected to win his primary, thanks to some help from Trump. The president shooed his biggest challenger, activist Danny Tarkanian, out of the race. On the Democratic side, one-term Rep. Jackie Rosen was favored to defeat 5 long-shot candidates. Tarkanian, who lost the 3rd congressional district to Rosen in 2016, plunged into that race and raised 4 times as much money as his closest challenger. The Democratic frontrunner was Susie Lee, a philanthropist who previously lost a primary in the nearby 4th congressional district and has locked up most party support. The Democratic-leaning 4th District, meanwhile, may set up a rematch between the players in one of 2014's biggest upsets. That year, voters ousted Democrat Stephen Horsford after one term and elected Republican Crescent Hardy, who was unseated in 2016 by a Democrat who in December announced a scandal-driven retirement. Horsford and Hardy are running again, and both have challengers. Both parties were also deciding competitive, pricey primaries for governor. Attorney General Adam Laxalt and State Treasurer Dan Schwartz, both of whom won in the 2014 Republican wave, were fighting for their party's nomination. Democrats will choose between Chris Giuliani and Steve Sisolak, both Clark County commissioners, who represent the left-wing and business-friendly wings of their party, respectively. In Maine, voters for the first time picked party nominees in a ranked choice system that let them assign preferences to several candidates. If no candidate wins an outright majority, ballot counters eliminate the candidate with the fewest first-choice votes and redistribute that person's support to the runners-up, and so on, until one candidate comes out on top. The Republicans' four-way race for governor pitted State Senate Majority Leader Garrett Mason, who has used public financing, against three candidates who opted out of that system. The Democrats have a seven-way contest, with every candidate promising to end Gov. Paul LePage's blockade of Medicaid expansion, but several running further to the left. The Democratic primary in Maine's 2nd Congressional District drew national attention for becoming a face-off between two kinds of candidates that the party has been trying to recruit in swing seats: Jared Golden, an Iraq War veteran and state representative, and Lucas Street. Claire, the wealthy heir of the Birdsby's fortune. The two were neck-and-neck late Tuesday. The eventual winner will challenge Republican Rep. Bruce Poliquin. Meanwhile, South Carolina Gov. Henry McMaster was forced into a runoff against businessman John Warren. McMaster was one of the few established Republicans in the state to back Trump in 2016, and became governor when Trump named Nikki Haley as United Nations ambassador. State Rep. James Smith, who is backed by former Vice President Joe Biden, won the Democratic nod for governor. In the 4th Congressional District, where Republican Rep. Trey Gowdy is leaving one of the country's most reliably GOP seats, while Republicans were seeking to replace him. There was less drama than scandal in the 5th Congressional District, which Democrats nearly won in a 2017 special election, before it was revealed that Archie Parnell, the party's surprisingly adroit candidate, had once assaulted an ex-wife. Democrats urged him to quit, but Parnell released a statement asking for forgiveness and remained on the ballot, and won. Sponsored content: what's view-through, and why should you track it? By if your digital ad campaign generates the same click-through rates as the average campaign, then more than 99% of people who see your ad. You might also like paying tribute to Anthony Bourdain. Far and wide lost your job? Here's what you need to do right now: work money. True fashionistas choose casual maxi dresses. www.playmefashion.com. Wonderful graduation dresses for little princesses. www.playmefashion.com. This new serum faded her old dark spots in 6 weeks. Daily Vanity. Visit 6 dynamic cities across APAC while managing. The NUS executive MBA TV shows are tackling the Trump effect, but just as in MercuryNews.com, dancing FBI agent turns self into Denver police. MercuryNews.com, a Warriors concern. All-Star center says he's hot too. MercuryNews.com, recommended by